Hello, sweet souls. This is DTO in the flow. Let's take a deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Whew. All right. I have the honor to be interviewing Teagan Rose. Who's Teagan? She's an embodiment facilitator, voice activation guide, actor, and creator. Teagan's mission is to support people in returning to their sense of home in their body, to their truth, and to their primal creativity. Teagan has been a professional actor, performer, movement artist for 15 years. Through the arts and her curiosity about human nature, she has explored the realms of emotional psychology, human connection, and creative expression as a healing modality. Her multidisciplinary training includes embodied dance, contact improvisation, holistic coaching, tantra, Meisner, Shakespeare, voice and singing, and BFA in performance, among others. As a facilitator and guide, Teagan specializes in emotional freedom and integration, embodying truth, energetic balancing, cultivation of creative life force energy, as well as training for performers. And some of her specialties are embodied movement, vocal liberation and expression, creative expression as a healing modality, emotional freedom, integration, and performance. Wow. I'm so grateful to bring on Teagan. Here she is.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. What a powerful bio. So
Thank
many skill
you.
sets and absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, been around the block.
Perfect. I want to remind all the viewers out there that we are live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And if you have any comments, please comment below. Teagan and I will answer those live. This is what's fun about the new world of the internet and social media. We get to move and groove. And we love any questions, or, of course, the best gift ever of gratitude is if you simply share this, because we feel like today's 5Q interview is going to have empowerment nuggets that will allow you to be in your throat chakra and your body in that liberation that Teagan is all about. And we'd love to know, because, this is a global connected space that we're in. Where are you located? Just let us know. And if any of this is too overwhelming, just, comment with an emoji. That's easy. Maybe
Okay.
you're feeling like whatever vibe. And I think there's hundreds of 300, 400 emojis out there. And we appreciate that. And we want to make sure before we get into the interview that you know where to find Teagan Rose. You can go to her website. You can find her on IG. That is Instagram for anyone that doesn't know the lingo of the internet. And some people are like, wait, what's that Twitch word he said? Yes, we are live streaming on a platform called Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So thank you for being here, Teagan. It's such a
Having me.
joy to have a fresh face on my show. And the way that we connected is because a mutual friend of ours, Nate, artist named Equanimous, he and his partner, business partner, they put on this amazing global unity fest that had hundreds of artists, musicians, healers, yoga instructors, and so many people that attended globally for this experience. And because I was involved and I got to play my music, I got to watch and enjoy. And there was this synchronistic moment where I was outside just relaxing. I was like, okay, I want to check out Global Unity Fest. And you were the first person that came on that I got to witness.
Oh,
And I
yay.
was like, whoa, I love what you're creating. Love your energy. I could really sense your passion for providing all these gifts, like I read in your bio at the intro, that you get to share with other people. And I know a lot of people that may have known you for years may not know the whole story of how it all began. So I feel like this 5Q interview is a great opportunity for people to take that ride and that journey along with you. So let's do a little drum roll here. All right. Question number one. What's your personal journey with movement and voice?
Yay. Awesome. Oh, it's so great to be here, and you're so fun. Like, I'm already having so much fun. So yeah, my personal journey. I've been an actor for 15 years. So if you do the math, I started when I was 12. And I have been so passionate about the art of acting and performing. And I got my BFA in performance from the University of Michigan. I went to a performing arts high school. It's just been so much of my life. And what I have loved so much about the art is that it gave me the opportunity to explore humanity from the inside out. So by embodying characters, by investigating these different forms of humanity and human nature, by actually allowing myself to kind of put on their skin and live inside of their bodies, I ended up learning, basically it felt like I got kind of like a degree in psychology, but just from a more artistic point of view, because I learned why so many personality types in humanity behave the way that they do, why we are triggered in certain ways, why we respond in certain ways based on certain relationships and traumas in our life, and so that was always the main goal for me in exploring acting and performing, was to be a representation of different forms of life. And it was incredibly healing for me. And obviously, I believe some people listening might have heard of drama therapy, for example. And for myself and a lot of my classmates, exploring theater has felt like a form of therapy, because it requires that you get extremely present, introspective, compassionate, caring, the ability to work with many different people and to be really easy to collaborate with, and to also just be so curious about life and about ourselves. And so I felt like over the course of my career in theater, and doing some television and movies and things like that, I felt like I was not only providing this really beautiful service of entertainment, but I was also just deep diving on a regular basis into what makes me who I am. And I've always kind of felt that I learned so much more about myself by becoming someone else, by like dropping my ego and the things that I might try to hold on to that makes me who I am, and to just really get really curious and allow myself to change and to grow and to expand. So throughout my training, movement was obviously a really big part of it, but what really into the realms of wanting to use this fascination and curiosity about human nature and how we operate as healing modalities was when I started exploring contact improvisation and ecstatic dance. That
Wonderful.
was just a life changer. The first time that I attended ecstatic dance was a little over 5 years ago, and my world was just blown open. I stepped onto that. Like, some people are kind of self-conscious ecstatic dance space. I was like, these are my people. Where have you been? This is amazing. So at home. And I went for it, and I danced like once or twice a week for 5 straight years. I've done it for 5 straight years. And same thing with contact improvisation, was just constantly practicing.
Yeah, you get to see that on your website, like right when you get to Teagan Rose, like here it is. It's you're in the flow, it's movement, it's that energetic expression that you get when there's body movement. And I'd love to read your mission here to support people in connecting more deeply to their
Sure.
sense of home in their body, to their truth and their primal creativity. And I feel like that's such a wonderful way for you that you got to discover like what is movement and how you can feel embodied. And then wow, especially with your experiences acting, where you truly become someone else, that's your character, and so you get to be self-expressed, which I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
other friends of mine that are acting currently or have acted, it's then you almost like if you're going through a card deck, like there's Himalaya's embodied oracle card deck, right? You're going through a card deck, you're like,
Cool.
which character am I wanting to play today? And then also, when you finally arrive, similar to how we're all quarantined, it's like, okay, we get to learn, like, who are we? Like, not this, avatar that we're out in the
Yeah.
world running around doing our thing. Like, we really get to go deep into who we are. And so once you learned all these
Yeah.
practices, my question too is, so what inspired you to teach this to others?
Yeah, definitely. So like you were saying about with the like the liberation through the movement, something that is really important for has been important for me in my growth and the way that I hold space for those that I'm working with, either in a workshop setting or one-on-one, is that whatever version of you is present right now is exactly what needs to happen. And that goes again with like dropping ego, who we're supposed to be. Like, I'm always a bubbly person, so this is who I am. But sometimes we go through waves of depression, and that's okay. That's natural. We all go through that. And if we deny ourselves from feeling that, from diving into it fully, we end up missing a lot of gifts that could be present in that experience for us. So what inspired me to teach, what it was partly the fact that maybe you resonate with this, that many of us will teach what we need to learn more about as well, or what we feel we are devoted to exploring in ourselves. I am so devoted to continuing to expand in my experience of who I am. And so I want to be able to hold that space for the rest of humanity, so that we can all dive deep into the truth of who we are. And I also, what inspired me to teach was this might sound kind of woo-woo. It was, I had taken a break from acting for a year. I devoted to take a break from it so that I could kind of separate myself from that identity that I was so entrenched in, to be able to get curious about who I am. And one day it just came to me. It was just like, I need to offer the practices that I have been so devoted to myself for the past 15 years. I need to share this.
I love that. And that's pure generosity, and you recognizing how life enhancing it was for you, and therefore you get to pay it forward. And that's, the teacher within us all and the student within us all, like, as you know, we're both at all times. We're in the classroom of life, and then we get to learn something and be like, oh, I want to share this with someone. Like, I got to. And then, of course, to have workshops and classes or online trainings, it's a whole other experience. And so question number 3, what makes your sessions unique?
Yeah. I'll share a brief little story, and then I would love to go into a practice perhaps as well. So the workshop that you were present for at Global Unity Fest, Primal Voice, I was guiding that workshop in Ojai, California a while back, and one of the participants, it was like halfway through the workshop, the exercise that I'm going to guide, this gibberish exercise. And we were taking a little break, and the participant comes up to me and they say, okay, this might sound a little bit weird, well, which of course for me wasn't weird at all. This might sound a little bit weird, but this neck pain that I've had for 3 years, which has been at a pain level of about an 8, after that exercise is now down to a pain level of about like a 2 or a 3. And they were like shocked, like, this doesn't make any sense. I've tried yoga. I've tried, different kinds of postural therapy. I've tried massage. Why does this work? And that's sessions unique, is that Yes, postural therapy, so important, super useful. Same thing with massage, and all these other physical practices. But what I think has been ignored for a long time is the emotional frequency of what we're holding. And when there are emotional frequencies that we don't allow ourselves to feel, either because they'll be painful or overwhelming, or we have stories about them, blah, 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 they hold in the body as pain or numbness. And so people in workshops and sessions is to allow moves that we can return to a sense of freedom.
I love that. Yeah. And what I find fascinating about that antidote is how we all have these possibilities of unlocking something, whether it's a pain, maybe this epiphany, an aha moment. And throughout our human journey, in this hero's journey of awakening and self actualization, it's so curious to me how, as you said, like someone that had this pain level at an 8, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I just felt like the weight of the world. I felt like I was carrying the Empire State Building, and it's just like, it's off, it's gone. It's like such a, oh, wow, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's true alchemy. Oh, my video is being a little bit weird, but I think you can still see me.
Yes.
I would love to guide that practice briefly, if that
Absolutely.
works.
Yeah, I will welcome everyone that's watching right now to get in whatever posture that Teagan's going to request you get into. And we are live streaming, so if there's any glitches, that's totally fine. We're all at quarantine level. We're all inside, and we get to experience this. So I will let you have this moment to guide. Thank you, Teagan.
Thank you. Yay! Hello. All right. So as I mentioned, this is a gibberish voice activation practice. So yes, a lot of my stuff has to do with movement, and it also has a lot to do with voice. And for me, they're intimately intertwined, because when we activate our voice, it allows vibration to move through our body, and that's movement. And with movement, then we create more space for the things within us that are ready to shift to actually have that shift. So this practice, you can really do it in whatever physical position you like. I'm going to do it seated so that you can see me, but you can do it laying down, standing up, and a really key part of this is that whatever physical movements feel like they want to happen from this practice, I support you in inviting yourself to flow into that. So what we're going to do is, from whatever physical position you are in, I invite you to place one hand on belly, one hand on your heart space, and to close your eyes. And this will be a really brief version of this practice. But breathing into your belly, allowing your breath to be however it is today. If it feels like deep, full breaths are what you're desiring, which is what I'm desiring, allowing that. And if it feels like your breath is a little bit more shallow, that's also fine too. That's information about where you're at right now. So allowing the breath to move and bringing your attention with your eyes closed, and just allowing your attention to drop in and down into the body, like bringing your awareness to a deeply internal state. And so in the same way that we're dropping our awareness and attention deeply inward, we're going to drop a question into the body. And this question for today is, where are you afraid to speak from? Where are you afraid to speak from? Another way of asking this question could be, what are you afraid to say? What part of you are you afraid to share? Whatever version resonates with you. And as you drop this question in, allowing it to land in whatever physical space in the body it does, or maybe there is this just sensation that overwhelms your body. Maybe there's a very clear answer and response that comes up. All of these are valid and perfect, these responses. And so from here, as you feel the resonance of this question and the way that your body is responding, you're going to speak from this place. But you're not going to speak using regular words. As I mentioned before, we're going to speak in gibberish. And what makes gibberish so powerful in this instance is that it bypasses the mind's desire to control an outcome. And so it really frees us up to allow the energetic frequency of that emotion, of that fear space, to be able to speak, to be heard, to be felt, to allow that movement with the vibration of our voice. So I will demonstrate. And actually, as I'm going, I invite you to go as well, so you can follow along with me. So where am I afraid to speak from? And I'm going to go ahead. So I'm going to pause there. You can continue on with that if you desire. Continue to allow it to flow, allow the body to move with it, whatever feels like it's getting unlocked. If there's any heat, follow that heat. And as you might notice with me, it can be really weird, really strange, really odd. That's fantastic. It's really important in this to not take yourself so seriously. It's taking ourselves too seriously is I think one of the things that locks us up from true liberation and freedom. So I'm going to pause there. You can continue with that if you'd like.
I love that. Oh my gosh, Teagan. It was like, I felt like you could become a cartoon character, right? Like the Tasmanian devil, just like, whoa, like spin around and just
Totally.
full self-expression, especially with all this anxiety and stress and like restriction that people are feeling right now. And it's like, whoa, you just let that internal energy just flow. And I trust that anyone that is diving deep into what you invited them into would feel those results of just feeling liberation. And that's exactly how I feel. I'm glad I was off camera. I was kind of like moving around and dancing around. It was fun. It was great. Awesome. Yeah. So anyone out there that wants to comment about what they're feeling right now, feel free to do that. Or you can comment if you're watching this on the archive and Teagan can respond. Or if anything, as I mentioned, you can go to her website that has more information about the practice and what's possible. And so let's get into question number 4, which is, how do you integrate music?
Yeah. So firstly, when it comes to all the voice activation practices that I do with people, I pretty much always don't use any music at all. And that's because, of course, the music that we're our voices. And I think that so many of us are like judgmental or embarrassed or self-conscious about the way that our voice sounds, even in general, even if we just hear ourselves on a recording or something, right?
Yeah.
And so
totally.
being in a space where we're actively diving into all the different strange, crazy, amazing sounds that our voices can make when we're moving through an emotional process, it's really important that we hear ourselves actually, so that we become familiar with ourselves in that way. When I'm guiding like movement journeys or movement meditations for people, doing practices like that, obviously, like coming from the world of ecstatic dance, the music has such a profound impact on what is activated in the body, of what part is, is, connects to that music, the rhythm, the beat, the vibe, and can really be unlocked and expanded when the music hits in just the right way. And so if I'm guiding like an embodied movement journey, for example, I will always choose music that starts from a place of being really internal and kind and gentle with ourselves, and then it starts to expand into curiosity, and then it expands even further into like diving into some of our shadows, and then it goes even further into the space of true bliss and liberation, and then always comes back again to a space of deep integration and nourishment.
And that's just right. All those adjectives just describe the power of music, right? It can take you on that journey. And I love your story about your first ecstatic dance experience, where you're just like, whoa, like I'm the mother spaceship is like right here. We found it. Like we're in this expression where
these are my people.
You get to be who you are choosing to be. And honestly, it's not always about, I did an awesome interview with a friend recently, and he's like, it's not about becoming necessarily, it's about remembering. Like just get back to that inner child, that wisdom that's already inherent in our DNA. Like we know this. We just have been adulting for so long that we forget the joy and pleasure and gifts of just expression, right? And play. So it's really beautiful. Wonderful. Well, my last question is, where can people find you online? And do you have any upcoming programs, online events, anything that you'd like to share?
Yes. So my website is Teagan-Rose.com, and on there is all of the information about movement, voice activation, and also performance. So like I guide I teach acting classes, virtual acting classes once a week for both adults and for kids. And the feedback that I've gotten from that, particularly from the way that I'm approaching acting these days as like a healing modality as well, is people will come out of my acting classes being like, that was like therapy. That was amazing. Like it's really fantastic. So there's information about acting on my website as well. My Instagram is Pratyagati Embodiment. And for those that don't know, Pratyagati means the journey home in Sanskrit. And then I also have my personal Instagram, which is Teagan Roses. And yeah, in terms of things coming up this Friday, I am guiding a Zoom workshop that I'm really excited about, which is called Befriending Anger. And so what I have discovered working with some clients recently on anger specifically is just how many gifts this emotion has to offer us, but we shut it down so often in our society, thinking that it's dangerous and that it always connects to violence, which is so not true. And so this workshop is going to be all about creating a new narrative around how we connect with and talk about our anger, and then diving into some embodied practices to be able to express our anger in a healthy way.
I love that. Yeah. And there's emotions are emotions are emotions. And I always love to remind myself and others that emotions are temporary. And when they're here, it's temporary. So don't freak out. Right. Yeah. There's an opportunity, right? It's a gift. You're getting delivered this, and you have to be like, oh yeah, why am I feeling like this? And it actually, I feel it gets to like pivot you and shift you, and it's almost like having a sailboat where you get to say, okay, this is my drishti, this is my direction, this is my dharma, this is my purpose. This is where I'm heading. And these emotions, they can either like sway us in a direction that, but all of this is movement, and life is movement. Like we are on a planet that is spinning right now, and we're in the cosmos floating, right? In outer
Yes.
space, and we're in inner space. And so the inner space of us gets
Yeah.
to have these ripples and these energetic waves. And as in yoga, they call it the chakras, right? The energy centers. And so I love how you're exploring that, and you're gifting your knowledge and experiences for this opportunity for people to say, like, hey, you want to, anyone out there is watching right now, if you want to learn from Teagan, like how to get the anger out and really channel it in a way that you would feel like a release. I think that's what it comes down to when you say Teagan, is to have a release of that.
And not only yes, definitely a release, but not only a release, but to realize that our emotions are they're fuel for us. When we can learn to connect with our emotions in a way where they're actually, we can cultivate them into more energy, more vitality, and more life force energy in our own life, and we can channel any emotion that we feel in our body into creativity, into connection with ourselves and others. And so, like, there's no such thing as a bad emotion. It's all just energy moving, and we have an opportunity, just like you said, every time they come up, because they don't last forever. Every time you come up, to channel them, to use them for our life.
I love that. It's so wonderful. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, and I'm grateful that we connected through the Global Unity Fest, and we were both participants of that. And that was such a beautiful ripple wave of, and that's what's glorious, I feel, where, you know, in the past when you're in person, the impact was in the four walls of this studio, or if it was an outdoor class. Now, when there's so much global connectivity, it's mind-boggling for me. Clear example is how the Global Unity Fest, like how I got to witness your primal activation, and you had no clue. Some random guy named DTO that's in San Diego happened to watch, and then I reach out to you to be on my show, and it's like, okay, how we can keep this momentum and this flow going really matters. And so it's important what you're creating and what you're offering in the world, and I appreciate you doing that. And so anyone out there that is interested, here is Teagan Rose's website. You can go there, learn more about everything that she's creating. As you can see, she's an actor, creator, embodiment facilitator, and I'd love to have you back on the show at some point. And
I would love that.
Yes. And wow, it's just been an interesting time in human history. And there's so many things that people are struggling with, and a lot of challenges. And I feel like the work that you are offering with the healing and the moving through the emotions and just being embodied is really important, because we get super heady and we get mental, and there's all this conflicting information, and we get like information fatigue, and we're like, well, what do I believe? Is it a hoax? Is it real? Is it and people are just like all over the place. And it shows like there's a polarities, right? There's the dichotomy, and there's so many different angles. And then, you know, besides going down all those rabbit holes, I love how you're just saying, like, be grounded, be embodied, be like clear of who you are and what your truth is. And there's this incubator, this cocoon that we're in. For me personally, I've had this massive creative burst, like May 8th, on Friday, I have like 2 songs that are launching on Spotify and worldwide, and I have all these things coming out. But I had all these projects sitting on the shelf that, you know, I would have been like on these tours and festivals. Now it's like, oh wait, like, yeah, I get to like have these come through and be shared with others. And I love how you're not like waiting until the virus is completed or this whole COVID-19 thing. It's like you're still offering online sessions and classes. And then do you do privates as well if anyone's interested?
Yeah, I work one-on-one with people, and it's, you know, a really great opportunity if there's particularly like a lot that's coming up and you need like special focus. That's really impactful. I wanted to say what, like, sessions, workshops. And I want to say just one more thing about what you were saying briefly about like the mind and the body. I mean, the mind is a part of our body, of course. And so it's like, it's an essential part of being human. Our mind is our problem solver. It's extremely powerful. Where like the challenge comes in is when we treat our emotions as a problem to be solved. And so that's where the challenge can come in, when like the mind is trying to control the emotions. And I was just talking with someone about this yesterday, that like if the mind is feeling really chaotic and trying to figure all this shit out, tune into the body. The body knows. The body never lies. And so just trusting yourself to drop into a deep space of just asking the body what it needs, what it wants. And that really solves a lot.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for creating this opportunity for people to learn and go deeper. And even within the space of our 35-minute interview here, I feel like there's so many great nuggets and wisdom and your gibberish exercise that you guided people through. So anyone that's watching right now, everyone knows that we're live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Comment, share. We would love for anyone out there that is resonating with what Teagan's sharing with you is for you to go directly to her Instagram page, her website. And as you see here on the screen, she has a befriending anger workshop that is coming up May 8th. And you go to her website to register. And thank you once again for being here. And
thank you. Pleasure. You're fantastic.
You're welcome, sister. All right. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.